I call this meeting of the Onslow County Commissioners to order. As usual, even though this is our organizational meeting, we will begin the night with a word of prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Moxley.
Let us pray. Loving and gracious God, thank you for giving us another day. Please bless all who are gathered here tonight. We come to you this evening asking your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin our meeting. Remind us of the values that bind us all together, and may that reminder empower each of us to act with wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and courage in the work that we do for the betterment of Onslow County. Heavenly Father, we further pray that you will bless the commissioners as they take on the challenge of leadership in difficult times. Grant them strong minds, great hearts, and ready hands as they dedicate their efforts, talents, and abilities to render true service for this county and its citizens. We also ask for the protection of the brave men and women serving around the world who defend democracy and this great country. Lord, we are grateful for the volunteers and first responders who keep our communities and neighborhoods safe. Be with the families of those injured or lost in the shootings in San Bernardino, California. Guard their hearts and minds, giving them the peace that surpasses all understanding. Almighty Father, thank you for being our refuge and strength in times of trouble. Now, dear Lord, with deep respect for the faith, traditions, and beliefs of all who are gathered here, hear us in a moment of silence. Thank you. Mr. David Cotton, Deputy County Manager, will now lead us in the Pledge of...
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, I will turn the meeting over to County Manager Jeff Hudson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. During this organizational meeting, which occurs once per year, the meeting is somewhat different in nature. To begin, the County Manager will organize the meeting and chair the meeting until the new chairman is elected. I would like to recognize in the audience Sheriff Hans Miller, who is joining us as an elected official this evening. Sheriff, welcome. At this time, we will begin with item 1. As a presiding officer, I would ask that the commissioners find at your desks the ballots which have been provided to you. This is for the election of a chairman of the Board of County Commissioners for Onslow County. Pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 153A-39, the Board of Commissioners at the first meeting in December shall choose one of its members as chairman for the ensuing year. The chairman's duty shall be to serve as a presiding officer at meetings of the board and to provide official signatures for official documents. At this time, I will collect the ballots, provided the commissioners are done with them. For the benefit of the public, ballots are often used for appointments, including appointments to positions on the board, for the convenience of the Board of Commissioners. All ballots are public documents and are available for inspection by the public immediately following the meeting by contacting our clerk to the board, Ms. Julie Wand. In addition, all ballots must be signed by the commissioner that cast the ballot in order to be valid. At this time, I will collect the ballots and the county attorney and I will tally the votes. Members of the Commissioners, you have unanimously selected Ms. Barbara Eichner to serve as your chairman until December 2016. Congratulations, Chairman Eichner.
Thank you. Thank you, board members. Thank you. I appreciate your confidence. At this time, we need to have ballots so we can select the vice chair.
These will be purple ballots, and on all of the purple ballots, Commissioner Eichner's name has been stricken through as she is not eligible for vice chair, being recently elected chairman.
Thanks, Jeff.
Commissioners, the ballots have been tallied. I'm pleased to report that Commissioner Buchanan has been chosen as vice chair until December 2016. Congratulations, Vice Chairman Buchanan.
Thank you.
You're welcome. At this time, we will resume our meeting, and if you have not already silenced your phones or electronic devices, please do so now. Once again, welcome to the sheriff for being in attendance. The board affords the public two opportunities to address by coming forward at public comment. The first opportunity is for 3 minutes, and you have to confine your comments to an agenda item. At the end of the meeting is a 5 minutes opportunity, and you can speak on any subject that the Board of Commissioners has authority over. We ask that you sign up in the back of the room. You'll be called forward in the order that you signed up. When you approach the dais, please, when you approach the podium, please give your name and address. We ask that there be no audience participation during public comment, and that all comments are made to the board in its entirety and are civil in manner. At this time, it's very important that we also note that there are no endorsements of candidates or promotions of business. The commissioners will reserve any comments if they desire to their opportunity to speak at commissioners' comments at the end of the meeting. At this time, I need a motion to adopt the agenda. A second. All in favor of adopting the agenda, say aye. Aye. Passes unanimously. A motion to adopt the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor of adopting the consent agenda, say aye. Aye. Passes unanimously. Mr. Manager, do we have anyone signed up for the 3-minute segment of public comment?
Madam Chair, there are no individuals signed up for the first public comment period.
Okay. Then let's move right on. I believe we have some business items to turn over. Mr. Manager, would you present those?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We do. This is also part of the organizational meeting that happens routinely. The first item, item 6A, is public officials and employee bonds. Bonds must be renewed periodically. North Carolina General Statute 159-29 states that an individual bond is required for an elected official, a tax collector, finance officer, such an officer, or elected official. The Board of Commissioners is responsible for approval of public official and employee bonds. Bonds are assigned to the positions which have been listed in your agenda package. Staff has inquired, and no bonds have been impaired. No claims are against any bonds that are presented before you this evening. The bonds would be in the amount as follows: County Manager, $200,000; County Finance Officer, $250,000; Onslow County Sheriff, $25,000; Tax Administrator or Collector, $100,000; Deputy Tax Collector, $25,000; and the Onslow County Register of Deeds, $50,000. The specific action requested is to request approval of the public official and employee bonds for the positions in the amounts listed.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
A second. All in favor of the bonds? Aye. Passes unanimously.
Item B is the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services Contract Authorization Form. Ms. Heidi Bauer, our Social Services Director, is available to present this item and answer questions of the board. Director Bauer.
Good evening. The Department of Social Services receives grant funding through the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services. Annually, they require the update of the contract and authorization form, which allows your selected individual to sign the contracts and the billing statements. I would respectfully request that the board authorize the chairman to sign the documents on behalf of Consolidated Human Services.
What's the board's pleasure?
moved.
A second. Any discussion? Any questions for Ms. Bauer? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, item C and item D will be presented by our Finance Officer, Mr. David McCole. As he makes his way to the podium, I will say that we were very pleased in County Administration to provide this information to the board. It's through no small amount of hard work, both at county staff and also Board of Education staff, that these two items come before you. Finance Officer McCall, if you would, please take C and then stay at the podium and deliver D as well, please.
Sure.
Thank you.
Good evening, Board of Commissioners. The first item that you have before you is it's a vehicle maintenance building construction project. It's an ordinance reducing the ordinance amount in an amount of a little over $301,000. And the reason why we're reducing that amount is due to the construction bids that came in were a little bit lower than what we projected when we originally passed the ordinance, as well as financing costs coming in lower than what was projected when we originally passed the ordinance. So with that said, I respectfully ask that you pass the project ordinance that you have before you, and with that, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you might have.
So moved.
Second? Any discussion? Any comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Passes unanimously.
The second project ordinance amendment you have before you is for Dixon Middle School. Again, that was passed, the original ordinance, back in April of 2014. We're asking that we reduce the ordinance amount by $3.247 million. Keep in mind that the construction bids came in lower than projected by a little bit over, it was right around $3 million. And also, the financing costs came in less than what was projected when we originally passed the ordinance. I want to point out also that this is good in terms of our school capacity model that we have. It creates more capacity in a model for the school board to pursue future construction projects that they have on the horizon. So with that said, I respectfully ask that you pass the project ordinance that you have before you, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have.
So moved.
Second? Any discussion, any comments? I'm going to make a comment because I'm just so pleased to hear, I mean, the R word, the reduction word, and certainly we owe the efforts of several people for making sure that these projects come in under budget and we can reduce the amount of taxpayer dollars. And on the school, this is one of the largest, or will be the largest school in Onslow County. So to build a school much larger and still come under $3.47 million, I mean, that's a lot. So I'm very pleased. Thank you.
I'd like to add, too, the architects did a great job in getting it to that point, and also the project manager for the school board, and also Megan Doyle, the project manager for vehicle maintenance. They really worked well as a team, and they got it to the point to bring it to bid and to be able to get the prices that we did. So they deserve a lot of credit in that area. So, and it creates more capacity in our models to look at future projects.
Sure. And I know we had some county employees that did some work to offset some of the cost, and that's the great thing about our county employees. Even though the dollar amounts may be there, they still strive every day to save us whenever they can.
Yes.
So we're real pleased with that and hope that they keep up the good work. And we have a motion on the floor. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr. McCall.
Madam Chair, before moving to item E, which is a resolution, may I add one more thing about the last two items?
Yes, you may.
One thing I would like to point out, and I'm glad Mr. McCall covered that at the very end, he mentioned about the architects and the design professionals and the staff. When a project budget ordinance is first adopted, it's adopted very, very early in the project. So there's the concept that something needs to be done. And then after that concept is formulated a little bit, there are some rough cost estimates. So for instance, one might say, like in Dixon, we want to build a middle school. And Chairman, you're right, that it will be the largest initially constructed middle school, I believe, in the county. But after you have that initial concept, you might say, well, we need a middle school and it's going to serve 900 people, and that might have a square footage of 150,000 square feet, and we'll just say that's going to cost us, so many dollars a square foot and come up with a number. Well, the thing is, the staff did not build to that number. Rather, that number sat there and the staff value engineered along with the architects those two projects. And so when it actually went out to bid and the real number came back, because a government or anyone that takes something out to bid, you don't know what the number is going to be, what the dollar amount's going to be until you bring it back from bid. And contractors have actually said, we'll build it for this. Well, they didn't build to that initial estimate. They value engineered the project, and it came in under that initial amount. So I believe that's a testament to good financial stewardship in pursuit of these construction projects. And good financial stewardship resulted in a really good bond rating of the county, which meant that our financing costs are lower than they would be otherwise. So that resulted in additional savings. So I just want to make sure if any members members of the public might be here this evening or might be watching on television, that it was not random chance that resulted in these deductions.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, Mr. Hudson, and I know the board echoes your sentiments with a high-ho thanks to the school system folks that were working on this project also.
Item E, resolution regarding the designation of an official to sign the government opinion form for alcoholic beverage ABC permits. Deputy John Matthews, our designated official authorized to sign the local government local government opinion forms for ABC permits, is retiring January 1, 2016. There is a need to designate a new official by name or by position to sign the opinion forms. We are requesting that the official be the position, not an individual, such as ABC officer for Onslow County. The agreement between the Onslow County Sheriff's Office and the ABC Commission requires the signature and approval of the County Commissioner Chair. The approval of this agreement is required for Onslow County to continue to receive approximately $50,000 a year in revenue from the ABC Commission. The general statute is listed in your agenda package for reference. It is North Carolina General Statute 18B 904F, Local Government Objections. The governing body of a city or county may designate an official of the city or county by name or by position to make recommendations concerning the suitability of a person or of a location for an ABC permit. The governing body of a city or county shall notify the commission of an official designated under this subsection. An official designated under this subsection shall be allowed to testify at a contested case hearing in which the suitability of a person or of a location for an ABC permit is an issue without further qualification or authorization. The specific action requested is that the Board of Commissioners approve the resolution regarding the designation of an official, that being the position of ABC officer for Onslow County, not an individual. Ms. Renee Kowick, Chief Legal Counsel for the North Carolina ABC Commission, has confirmed that the position is not an individual, and is acceptable.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Passes unanimously.
Item 7, appointments. A, Community Child Protection Child Fatality Prevention Team. The Community Child Protection Child Fatality Prevention Team is established and designated by the Board of County Commissioners pursuant to North Carolina General Statute, Section 7B-1406. The Community Child Protection Child Fatality Review Team reviews records of all fatalities of Onslow County children, as well as any cases that might be receiving child protective services in which there may be gaps in the service delivery from a county agency. All of the cases are reviewed to determine what, if any, improvements can be made within the community as a whole to provide services to the child population. A report is submitted to the Onslow County Board of Commissioners and to the state annually. One individual has submitted a citizen participation application to fill the categorical position on this group. The applicant is Mr. John R. Reed, firefighter category, for a term of 1 year with a term expiring June 30, 2016. The action requested is to approve the appointment of Mr. Reed.
So moved.
And second. All in favor of Mr. Reed, say aye. Aye. Passes unanimously.
Item B, Juvenile Crime Prevention Council. The North Carolina Department of Public Safety partners with the Juvenile Crime Prevention Councils in each county to galvanize community leaders, locally and statewide, to reduce and prevent juvenile crime. JCPC board members are appointed by County Board of Commissioners and meet monthly in each county. Each JCPC has the responsibility to review the needs of juveniles in the county who are at risk of delinquency or who have been adjudicated undisciplined or delinquent, prioritize community risk factors, determine the services needed to address those problem areas, develop a request for proposal for services in need, increase public awareness of the causes of delinquency and strategies to reduce the problem, and develop strategies to intervene, respond to, and treat the needs of juveniles at risk of delinquency. Mr. Linwood B. Foy has expressed an interest in the appointment to the JCPC Board serving in the Sheriff's Department category and has provided a citizen participation application. It's on file and has been certified by the Clerk's Office. The specific action requested is to consider the appointment of Mr. Foy for the remaining 2-year term, which would expire on June 30, 2016.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Mr. Foy? Aye. Passes unanimously. Okay. We had nothing pulled from the consent agenda. Do we have anyone signed up for the second 5-minute comments?
Yes, Madam Chair, we do. This is the second public comment period. During the second public comment period, there's a 5-minute time limit. In accordance with the Board's rules of procedure, Commissioners shall reserve responses, if any, for the Commissioner comment period at the end of the agenda. Citizens shall have the opportunity to talk about any issue upon which the Board of Commissioners have control. The first individual that signed up to speak this evening is Mr. Kevin O'Connor of 210 Newport Drive, Jacksonville. Mr. O'Connor, you have the podium for a time period not to exceed 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Hudson. Board of Commissioners, Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
It's
Same
that
to
time
you.
of the year. Merry Christmas, everybody. I'm here to request that the board reconsider changing the sales tax distribution back to ad valorem and per capita. If you look at a brief history of this, after the city of Jacksonville incorporated the bases, there was per capita sales tax distribution for 16 years. However, during that time, there was a memorandum of understanding between the county and the city in which the city was cutting a check back to the county for the lost sales tax revenue during those 16 years. Then there was 1 year ad valorem, and I think during that time frame, before we went to the ad valorem per capita split, my personal opinion is I think the powers that be realized that, and I'm not speaking for the city of Jacksonville, is I think the city of Jacksonville will fully agree, again, that's my opinion, that a lot of the sales tax revenue does come from county residents. At a previous board, I did address the North Topsail Beach situation in which 84% of the homes are for-profit businesses. So I don't think the sales tax, as far as the ad valorem, or them receiving the majority of the sales tax distribution along with the county, is appropriate either. So we go to the ad valorem per capita split, and then we go back 3 years ago, and you go to the candidates forum 3.5 years ago. Each one of the incumbents at the candidates forum 3.5 years ago clearly stated that there was nothing that could be cut out of the budget. Lo and behold, about 5 months later, 6 months later, after the election, since there was nothing else to be cut, again, the county was looking for some quick cash in their pocket. So what they did is they said, we're going to split to the ad valorem in order to put those few $1 million back into the county coffers, which also helped the North Topsail Beach situation, which right now is a complete nightmare, and I'm totally confused as far as what the situation is down there. However, current Mayor Fred Burns did clearly state that Phase 1, New River Inlet, is in the New River Inlet. Phase 5 is incomplete. They're $17 million in debt. Now they're having a problem where North Topsail Beach did actually do something in order to protect the properties, but now those homeowners are suing them because it wasn't good enough. So I'm honestly just flat out confused as far as the North Topsail Beach nightmare. So going back to that, that's the main reason that I'm looking at the ad valorem per capita split going back the way that it is. Additionally, in the either ad valorem or per capita method, what happens is if one entity, for instance, the county raises their tax rate, what happens is that gives them a bigger slice of the pie of the sales tax revenue. So what would happen is if you raised your taxes, what would happen is you would get that bigger piece of the pie. Everybody else would get a smaller piece of the pie. But if you go to the ad valorem and per capita, what's going to happen is that impact on the other entities is going to be significantly less of an impact on those entities when it comes time for their budget. And that being said, I'm requesting that the board reconsider changing the sales tax distribution. It's fair all the way around for everybody in the county. I think I can clearly state one more time that I don't think North Topsail Beach needs the money because of my business hat being on. And I think the county is unjustly taxing the residents of Jacksonville. And additionally, if we look at the drive around Jacksonville, if we want to start at Gum Branch Road and Western Boulevard Extension, we have Lowe's Foods, we have McDonald's, we have Dunkin' Donuts. If we drive down the road, we have the Wash House. Keep on driving across from Kmart, we have Strip Mall right there. We go down Henderson to Marine Boulevard. We have Mike Lazar's place. There's an Advance Auto. O'Reilly's opened up. There's a new propane gas place opening up. Family Dollar's coming in. There's a lube place coming up. Family Tire opened up in Yop Road along with a couple other places. Go up Western Boulevard Extension. You have Hobby Lobby. You have Old Chicago, Burlington Coat Factory. So you're benefiting as well from the infrastructure that the city of Jacksonville built by those additional commercial businesses, because you want either industrial, commercial, or residential, and those are all commercial businesses in which the revenue is going into the county coffers. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Hudson, do we have anyone else signed up?
Madam Chair, there are no other individuals that have signed up for the second public comment period.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Manager, do you have manager comments for us?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's it?
That pretty much covers it. Yes, ma'am.
Well, at least
Happy New Year.
You could have added Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, but mainly Merry Christmas, but then Happy New Year as well. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, well, we'll let you off easy tonight. It's time for commissioner comments. Ms. Williams, would you like to start?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, and congratulations for
Thank you.
accepting what we need to have for another year here. Thank you very much. I would like to just state that in looking at the Daily News a few days ago, I was quite impressed with Onslow Memorial Hospital listed as the elite group of 100 safe care hospitals, and that only 2 North Carolina hospitals are in the category of 100 to 400 beds, and one of the safest hospitals in the United States. I thought those statistics and knowing what we bring to our community here in Onslow is something to be really proud of, and Dr. Piper and his staff over there doing a great job in providing the services that they provide to our community. And also, I'm on the Airport Advisory Board, so I will take this time to please state to those, when you're traveling outside of North Carolina, please think about our own airport, John Ellis Airport, when you're making your travels. Think about flying out of the beautiful airport. It is gorgeous. It is beautiful. It's 2 stories. So please go out there. We even have a spot for the Marines when they're coming in, when they're going out. The USO is out there. So please think about your county, our county. And I know you'll be very pleased to see, if you've not gone out there, please go take a look at our airport. That is it, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jarman?
Good night.
Mr. Bright?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll be brief. The shooting, we had prayer earlier about the shooting in San Bernardino, California. It's not just about that or active shooter. If you're traveling in the holiday season and you're in these large gatherings, if you see something, say something. Report it to the authorities. Not just an active shooter, but anything that you see that could be suspicious. One little piece of information to a law enforcement officer may be a big solution and solve a big crime. So that old saying, if you see something, say something, that really rings true. Tonight also, I'll congratulate staff and the folks that put together the savings of the right at $3.5 million with both projects. That's right at almost 3 cents on our tax books if you look at property tax value. So anytime we can reduce spending, or anytime we can reduce the amount of money that we can put somewhere else, maybe put it in another project, we're way y'all are better off. Other than that, Merry Christmas to all of you folks, and have a happy and safe New Year, and after that, good night.
Thank you, Mr. Bright. Vice Chair?
Thank you. David McCall, I want to thank you for all the work that your staff did. That's $3.6 million that you saved us, which is a big help to our general fund and what we deal with in any of our budgets. The airport, I'm glad that Millionaire brought that up. I just flew in a week ago Saturday from San Antonio, and the people on the plane were praising our airport. The civilians on board the aircraft and the Marines, which the aircraft was pretty much loaded with Marines. I would say 70% of them were Marines on that aircraft, and the other 30% were civilians. But there was a lot of people saying thank you for not having to walk out into the weather, the cold, and the rain, and get into those jet ports, the actual jet tunnels. That's a big help to us. Tony Padgett, I want to thank you personally, and I know this board wants to thank you. Your staff and what you have done is not one project. I want to think it's like 3 or 4 projects that you've assisted us with in helping save money for the county, and I want to thank you and the staff that did that. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. And I'd like to echo my thanks for Tony and all of the county employees that work so hard to help save the taxpayers' money. Oftentimes when it's a government project, you think, well, I've got this amount of money, so I'm going to spend to it. And our staff and the people that work for us, that's not their mindset. They spend as little as they can. And that's why we're able to see these reductions. Also, once again, I'd like to thank the board for your vote of confidence in me. I'll try to be as good a chair as I possibly can. Since the ABC store was brought up tonight, I think it's appropriate for me to let the citizens know the way our state operates their alcoholic beverage stores is a lot of the revenue that is spent in those stores come back to the municipalities and to the county. Law enforcement gets a nice piece back from the sale of alcoholic beverages. This past year, Onslow County received over $1 million of revenue, both municipality, the entire amount. So that's $1 million of money that comes back to our county, either municipal or countywide. So there's a benefit to the way the state operates the ABC systems here in North Carolina. This is our last meeting of December of this year. We will not have another meeting this year. So I too would like to say to all the staff and to my fellow commissioners, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And we'll be back here in January to continue serving our citizens to the best of our ability. Good night. I have a motion to adjourn.
moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. We're adjourned.